Yes. Hang on just a second. Testing. Is my mic working? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? All right, testing. Oh, there's an echo. Echo. All right, we're gonna see if we can get this going here in just a minute. All right, I think we might have this going. Seems like the sound is better. Okay, so here we are. Have to turn that down. So today we've got a bunch of orders to do. So let me get myself organized here. So we're going to be doing a bunch of custom pours for customers today. And oddly enough, they are almost all Auroras. So let's see what we've got here. We need to do that one, which that's a Strupula. So let's do find a, now there's a Verseston, and there's a Metropole. Strupula. Okay. Let's do these first. Okay. So, what are we doing here? Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Derek. I am the owner, creator, head honcho, head janitor of Amabidi, and we make silicone toys. So what I'm going to be doing today is some silicone pours, and we'll probably do maybe a couple of demolds, depending on how fast things go. And we'll try to get through as many of these orders as I can. I got 6 lined up for today, which might have enough molds to do. We do them in the right order. I think I can get through all of them today. So, first things first, I'm gonna do some cleaning and grab some gloves, and then we're going to get everything prepped up. We'll start the pours here in just a few minutes. All right. Hey, Tyler. Yeah, I had some comments over on YouTube about the music. Actually, if you're over on TikTok, you don't get music because, well, TikTok is what it is, and so I can't combine music and my mic. So you guys over on TikTok just get just my voice. Um, let's see. Okay, we got gloves. We got this. I'm gonna get started here. I actually tried turning down the music as much as I possibly could, but it seems to be just wanting to be as loud as it possibly can. So what I've got here is just some 99% alcohol, and just going through and sanitizing my workspace here, make sure everything is as clean as I can get it. So actually, we'll start off with some of these cups from yesterday. This is the cup from an Aurora yesterday. So you can see the purple, the black, and the teal. This is one of the other cups from yesterday's pour. This is the teal. It's kind of a coral blue. And then this is the black. Hmm? Oh. Wonder why that is. Okay. We're just gonna get these done real quick, make sure everything's nice and clean. All right. So let's get started with, we're going to do a scrupula in A25. Where did my scrupula mold go? Where did my mold go? Ah, there's one. This will work. Yeah, for some reason, it's not on TikTok right now. My phone decided to give up the ghost. Battery, I don't know, battery died or something. Not entirely sure. But we'll get TikTok back up here in a little while. All right. So first one we're going to do is Scrupula Aurora in A25. And this is going to be order number, last three digits are 924. So if there's anybody out there waiting for theirs to be done, you might look at your order number and see where you're at. Okay. So for an Aurora Scrupula 25, we're going to need black, we need teal, and then we need purple. Okay. Okay. So these are the colors that go into the scrupula, I'm sorry, into the Aurora. We got this really deep black, and then we've got this kind of an iridescent purple and this teal, kind of almost a coral green, coral blue, I don't know. It's somewhere in between there. And what they end up with is something that kind of approximates, you know, the Aurora Borealis. So, all right. Now, I apologize, I'm gonna have to go off camera for some of this because, well, my scale is over here, and my camera doesn't work that way, so we'll just have to go with what it is. Now, the A25 is a little bit tricky to run. The thing about it is that the A25 cures so fast. So, you know, I have maybe 5 to 7 minutes on the cure time, the pot life. And so, actually what I have to use is a retarder so that it slows down the curing. And that way I can make sure that I have enough time to get all the colors mixed and get them vacuumed and then get everything into the mold before anything starts to set up. Willow has a question. Have you thought about getting a chest cam? I'm actually looking at getting what I'd like to do is get about 3 or 4 GoPros and have them mounted in various parts of the studio, my casting room here, and probably have one on my chest or on my head or something like that. But, all right, so that's just the first part. And I got my retarder in there. So what I need to do now is get my part B. All right. And now the clock is ticking. So now that the part A and part B have touched, they're going to start their reaction and start cross-linking. So what I need to do is get this mixed up as fast as I can. And yeah, I know it looks like I'm whipping air into this, but honestly, it doesn't really matter because when we are done, we will have vacuumed out all of the air that might have been in it. So I mixed everything up in one cup, and now I'm going back and I'm separating it out into what I need for each of the three colors. And the reason I do that is because I want to make sure that they all have exactly the same mixture to them. And I don't want to have, this one curing before this color. So that's why I do it that way. I mix it all up first, and then I separate it out into the various sections that I need, and then I recombine them back into the original cup so that I can get the four that I want. Okay. So we'll start off with the purple here. And I realize where the camera is, it might be a little bit hard to see, but you'll see it in a second here when I get it mixed. So, also the nice thing is that since I've already combined my part A and part B, I don't have to worry about anything other than incorporating the color into the silicone. And we're mixing up the black. That one's done. And now we need to do the teal. There's that teal, it's really nice. It's just such a really interesting combination of blue and green. And then the black is pretty simple, it's black. So, all right, off to the side here, I've got my vacuum chamber. Gonna drop them in there. And we're gonna pull a vacuum on it so we can pull all the air out of the silicone. All right, so a couple of comments. Willow seems to like this format where we do the question, answer, and also do pours at the same time. Which, sure, yeah, I'm happy to do it. It's a little bit tricky because, well, having to talk and do at the same time and being under the gun as far as time goes, it's a little bit tricky. Yeah, that purple really is pretty nice. And as usual, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. So I'm happy to answer questions. All right, we got just a minute more of that, so we'll peel this real quick. So we got the vacuum done, and now what I need to do is get everything back into the big cup so we can get it combined the way we want. All right, so we have the purple here, it's in the bottom, and we're gonna drop the black right on top. And I just wanna get it right there on top. One of the interesting things about silicone is that because it's so thick, you know, this is like, almost like honey. And because it's so thick, it doesn't really, you know, want to mix. It's just, they kind of just sit on top of each other. So. Tyler asking about dual density toys. I have actually done some experiments with that. It's rather tricky, and the thing is that it's not very consistent. Let's see if I can do this in a way that you guys can see it a little bit better. So I'm just going to pour it here, right down the middle. You can see the teal goes first, and then we get the black, and then the purple comes in. Just get the rest of it here. I just want to make sure I get the mold just absolutely as full as I can. There we go. Set that off to the side. And now I'm going to do a little bit of butt art. This is kind of our signature. We've got several people who do the pores, but we each have developed our own butt art. And so it's kind of our signature. This is, if I see this, I know that I made this one. Well, probably, because somebody could try to duplicate it, but there's some, each of us do our own, and that way we can tell who poured what. And if you get a few toys, you can actually see the differences. So there we are. Willow, yeah, actually interesting question. Would it make a difference if you mixed the color with just part A or part B, and then did the pour, mix the color into part A or part B? Let's go ahead and do this. There it is. Oh, that fit? Yeah. Would it make a difference if you mix the colors with just part A or part B, then combine the parts and then vacuum? Seen other toy makers do this, so I'm guessing it's to extend hot life. Yes. The reason I don't do that is because I want to make sure that every part of this cures at exactly the same time. So if I mix up, you know, all of my colors into part A, part B, or mix all of my colors into part A in 3 separate cups, then add my part B in, well, they're going to be curing at slightly different times. And I would rather make sure that everything is perfectly mixed and that it's going to be very consistent all the way through. But, you know, everybody has their own methodology of doing it. Let's see. Go back through the chat here a little bit. Oh, thank you, Tyler. Yeah, it's actually really pretty to watch. Really, it's as much art as anything else. And so I'm going to set this off to the side. And as you might have, well, you might have seen it at the beginning. I had several cups here that um, were from yesterday's pours. And the reason I keep the cups, and I don't just clean out the cups immediately. One, it's a lot easier to do when the silicone is cured, and I can just grab it and peel it out in one piece rather than trying to clean a liquid. That's a lot easier. Um, but also, it's a kind of a way for me to check my process. Is that if there's a problem and the part that's in the mold, if this doesn't cure, but what's in the cup does cure, then I know there's a problem with what's in my mold. And it could have been the wrong mold release. It could have been some random contaminant of some sort or something like that. But if this doesn't cure and what's in the cup doesn't cure, then I know that my mix was wrong or there was something wrong with the silicone from the very beginning. And it's just a way for me to be able to tell, you know, if anything went wrong, when did it go wrong, and just helps me troubleshoot. And let's see. I would think that it would basically dilute the setting mixture and which would, you said, hinder the curing process. Um, Basically, what you have to do is oversaturate. If you're going to do your pigment into one of your parts, into the part A, for example, you have to oversaturate it. And then when you put your part B in, it'll dilute it down enough to where it gets to where you want it to end up. But it shouldn't cause any cure inhibition. I mean, the pigment itself, I test all my pigments to make sure that they're not going to cause any problems. But, you know, doing it separate like that shouldn't cause you any problems in terms of cure inhibition. All right. Almost ready to do number 2. Okay. So next one we're going to do is a Metropole in 0050. So this one's going to be somewhat softer than that Scrupula that we just did. Because that first one we did was an A25. And it's fairly firm, but it's not overly so. It's not something, it doesn't feel like plastic, you know. It's going to have, actually I have an A25 over here. And then this. Okay, I got some examples to show you here. So let me get all this out of the way. This is a Metropole, by the way, but this is a Scrupula Aurora in A25, and I made a mistake and, well, ended up warping it. There are some problems with this one. So this will go into the flop bucket. But these are fairly close in size, and you can kind of see this one versus this one. You got some flop, but this one's got a little bit more spring to it. And this one, boom, boom. This one's a little bit softer. And I believe, if I remember correctly, this is an A10, and this is an A25. So depending on how you're going to be using it, you might go for something that's a little bit firmer or a little bit softer. Also, the size and the dimensions make a difference, because I'll show you this example too. Now this is a Parabolica, and these two are pretty close in terms of their wobble factor. But here's the deal. This is actually a 0050. This Parabolica is softer than this A10 Metropole. And you can see they're pretty close. The difference is the extra girth in the extra girth in the Parabolica means that it's going to feel firmer, and it's going to have just a little bit more resistance than the Metropole. And so even though they are 0050 versus A10, they have almost exactly the same characteristics. So size matters. Well, size matters, but size also has an impact on the feel and the texture. Exotic themed. What do you mean, Tyler? What is exotic themed? I mean, my brain goes to more fantasy style toys like dragons and things like that. Or do you mean exotic colors? Which I think the Aurora is pretty crazy. Yesterday I did a Phoenix on a Saturnalia. And so this is the Saturnalia in a Phoenix, which has the orange, the white, and the yellow. And it really kind of evokes that feeling of fire. And, the different colors are going to give you a different aesthetic and a different kind of vibe. If you do something like this versus the Aurora, or something like, let me grab the other one. Where did it go? Where did it end up? Well, I had a black and red one, which is very almost dark and gothic, almost aggressive, kind of almost horror-like. And so, this versus something that's black is going to evoke a very different feeling. Yeah, actually the Parabolica is kind of my take on a tentacle. That S curve that it has going for it, and that kind of flat head really is kind of veering into the world of tentacles. But you might have noticed a lot of the stuff that I do, a lot of the stuff that I do isn't realistic. It's representational, but not realistic. And that's on purpose, because that that really veiny, realistic, even if it's realistic fantasy, is just not my style. So, all right, let's get this one done. We're doing a Metropole in 0050. Yeah, that one. All right. I have to go check my calculator here. So I have a spreadsheet that has all of my calculations on it. And that way I make sure that I don't get my mix wrong. More in here. I hope I have enough to get all of these done. And I'm running a little bit low on my silicone. All right. So I've got my part A, part B mixed together here. Just gonna mix it up. Come back to the chat, see if there's anything going on there. Oops. I totally made a mistake on this one. I used too much silicone. So, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Maybe I can, I wonder if I can do two at once. Nah, I'm not gonna try that. But what I will do is I will do some extras in squishy molds. These are just little molds that I have that if I've got excess, I just pour it off into here, and that way nothing gets wasted. All right. Oops. There's the first one. And 2 and 3. All right. And by the way, this is for order number 991. So if you're looking for your order, this one is 991. Got our black, we get our teal, and then we grab our purple. Oops. Get this out of here. There's the purple. You can see that. It's almost like it's got some red and some blue undertones. It's really, really pretty. And then this is just the black. Now the black actually does have some sheen to it, which means that it actually creates just a little bit of marbling on its own. All right, and that's the teal. All right, and into the vacuum chamber. Squishies! Yes, we do a lot of squishies. I'll go grab some real quick and show you. So this one's just kind of a diamond, and then we have a unicorn, another unicorn, diamond, and look at this guy. Look at this dinosaur. I mean, that's just freaking cute. I don't know, can you see him? Anyway, he's totally cute. But we do a lot of squishies just because we just try to make sure that we don't waste any materials if we don't have to. Okay. This is almost done. Your favorite color is neon yellow, huh? Well, this is a very, very blacklight reactive yellow. I'm gonna turn off the light here for a second, see if I can get this to glow. Let's see. A little bit harder to see, but up here you can see just how bright it goes. Yeah, the camera doesn't really like doing things in the dark, but we do have some blacklight reactive colors. Okay, so let's get this second one going here. We have our purple, black, and teal. And, you know, color theory is one thing. We really have to pay attention to how we combine colors and not just the feeling or the emotion we're trying to evoke with a particular color combination, but also how those colors sit next to each other. Because if I were to put the teal on top of the purple, it would have a very different look than if, like what I am doing, which is what I put the black in between the teal and the purple. It gives it just a little bit more definition, and it kind of creates that boundary between the two colors. And that way, they're able to stand on their own, and we don't end up with some kind of muddy mess. All right. Let's see if we can do this again. Get these out of the way. And you can see the purple is here on the bottom. And then we have the black, and then we have the teal. So let's get this one poured. Right down the middle. There's the black, the purple. Every one of them is completely different. Because on this one, you saw that it took a little while for the purple to come in. So this one's going to have a lot more purple towards the base and less towards the tip. And then we'll pour off the excess into the squishy molds. Come on, sit. Sit. There we go. All right, so I got 7 squishies out of that one. Actually, I want to get that back over here. Get a little excess here. I'm just going to kind of shove it off to the side. It'll peel off real easily. All right. Get that done. Now let's do our butt art. And there it is. That is a Metropole in 0050 Aurora for order number 991. All right, let's see if we can get TikTok back on here. All right, so the next one we're going to do is a Versusta. So now, actually, I had a question yesterday about weight, and how much these things weigh. They weigh anywhere from about 8 ounces to 12 ounces, depending. So half a pound to 3/4 of a pound. So that gives you a sense of the volume, the weight, and etc. All right. Let's try to do this. All right, questions, comments, anything like that before I get into the next one? Oh, there's one thing. You might notice I have a couple of different sizes in my cups, and it's not just for, efficiency's sake of, I don't want to mix everything in a big cup, or a smaller cup is better for smaller toys, but there's also a difference in the way that they pour. So it's a little bit weird to explain, but because the silicone is sitting down here, and when I go to pour it, it takes a longer travel time to get here, and it draws the silicone from the bottom farther forward faster. Whereas this would be filled up to, about here. And as I pour, it's going to pull that first color off first, and the bottom color is going to trail behind more. And so you'll get a little bit different marbling and a little bit different color pattern that way. Let's see here. Oops. Do that. All right, I think TikTok might be up again. Let's check. Woohoo! TikTok. TikTok is back. All right. So, hello to everybody on TikTok. My name is Derek. I am the owner, creator, whatever you want to call it, of Amavidi, and we do silicone toys for adults. And gonna be doing some silicone pours, and maybe we can do a couple of demolds. First one I poured a little while ago, probably gonna be ready here in a little while, so we'll get that going here in a bit. And this is a Ask Me Anything session, so definitely if you've got any questions, drop them in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. No question is too dumb, too stupid, or anything like that. I am absolutely happy to share just about anything when it comes to pouring silicone, making toys, etc. So, questions, go in the chat, and we will get to them as we can. Spore Baby asks, what's my favorite color combination to do? My favorite is actually the Dorian Gray. Called the Dorian Gray, but it is silver with a red tip. So, funny story is, when that one was in development, we were trying to come up with color combinations. That one was an early success and we liked it. And while it was in development, we called it the Bloody Knife because it basically looked like a knife that had blood on the tip of it. So it's definitely a somewhat more aggressive colorway, depending on how you take it, because it can look a little interesting there. All right, so we're gonna do a Versustan in 0050, and we're gonna use the Aurora colorway. So the Aurora is black, teal, and purple. So I'll show you that as we go along here. But Gonna make sure to get my mold release in there. And this way, mold release is just there to keep the silicone from sticking to the mold. Silicone doesn't like to stick to much, but it will stick to other silicone. So, all right, we're gonna do a Versustan. So what I need is 200 grams of silicone. Actually, we're going to come back to that. Poured out just a little too much for this one, so I'm going to have to redo it. Cats asking how old am I? I am old enough to know better than to answer that question. All right, I'm just going through and cleaning all of my cups. I just want to make sure that everything is nice and clean. We go through and sanitize pretty regularly. It's just, you know, the right thing to do. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, so I got my silicone measured and combined. I'm just going to mix it really good here. I just want to get a really good combination between the two parts. And then I'll separate it out into the three component colors. Wolfcat has a question. Does silicone set on its own? Like you can just set it aside for a couple hours and it'll set up by itself? Actually, yes. Once you combine the two parts, the cross-linking begins. And so silicone, well, let me rephrase. Platinum cured silicone, which is what we use, does not require anything else to cure on its own. This will take about hour and a half or so to finish curing. All right. So we got our 3 different silicone mixes separated out. Now I'm going to add this teal to one of them. And then black to one of them. And then purple to the last one. There we go. And now we just mix. Oop. You can see the Versescent is actually one of the smaller toys that we do, and so they're just really, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to get it on camera because it's all the way down there at the bottom of the cup. And since I already mixed my part A and part B together, I don't have to worry about anything except getting the pigment mixed into the silicone. And here's the purple. It's just yummy. Look at that. All right, now into the vacuum chamber. And while that is going, I will double check on the chat and see what's going on there. Oh man. I think my phone is overheating. The one that I use for TikTok seems to be overheating and shutting off. And that's a little disappointing. Well, that was weird. Both my battery on my mic. So have to just go old school. How's this sound? All right, I'm back. Like I said, for some reason both my battery packs went out on my microphone, so just gonna have to wing it. So let's take a look at these real quick to see how they're doing. This one's almost ready to pull. Still needs a little bit more time. This one's going to take a little bit longer as well. And this one, there's no way that one's ready. So we're going to do, I think, one more pour. Then we'll do a demold and reuse that mold. Thing is, you need this mold. Everything else I need is a scrupula, so just have to make do for a bit. So why don't I answer any questions? Were there any questions out there? You can drop them in the chat. I do a weekly AMA on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Central. So yeah, you can check that out. And that tends to be a little bit more topical. So, I might be talking about some particular aspect of the indie toy market or makers or, 3D printers, things like that. Dave on YouTube had a comment about ninja moves during the pours. Yeah, dude, it's not that complicated on the pour. It's more about positioning it in the cup, because that's what has the greatest impact on the positioning of the colors. Now you can influence it because, sometimes depending on the pour, I may kind of give it a shape, just little micro movements as I'm doing the pour, and that will just kind of create some interesting variability in it. Now, what I have done in the past, actually we did this for the holidays last year, was I had a turntable, and we set it on there, and then we do the pour. And because it's turning as we're doing the pour, we create this spiral effect. And last year we did it in using red and white, and we made like candy cane themed pieces. But yeah. Oops. I'm just a little nervous about pulling this one out too early. That's what I did yesterday, and ended up with a piece that was warped. So this is what happened. It's got a lean to it. And also the base, I don't know if you can see it, but the base right here is warped. I mean, it doesn't change the functionality of it at all, but it's just not right. It's just not perfect. So this will go into the flops category. So while we're waiting for that to be ready to pull, I'm gonna do a little show and tell some of the stuff that poured yesterday. All right. So while we're waiting for that one to cure to the point that I can take it out of the mold, I'm going to show some of the things that we poured yesterday over the last couple days. This is, move these off to the side here. This is a Metropole. This is in an A10, and we did silver and red. I kind of like this combination. The pour on this came out really nice. You got this red vein that kind of is prominent here, but then you got the silver vein that's really prominent on this side. So then you have this feathering, marbling that's happening right in here that's really interesting. Anyway, I liked that one. This was a Gibless in 0050, and this was a gold and red, and the red just came in right in through here and kind of created this really interesting vein of red right through down the middle, and then we get the red around the face here. And this one's it's a little bit thicker. I say that. The head is a little bit bigger, and so it can stand to be a little bit softer. But also, all of this texture that it's got on it really benefits from the softer silicone. Now this is a Metropole, and this is in the Dewy Skies colorway. Dewy Skies. Nope, sorry, this is Bumper Cars. I get them mixed up sometimes. Pink, blue, and there's a very fine purple right down the middle here. Kind of catches right there. You can also see it just like right in there. So this is the Bumper Cars coloration. Usually we get a little bit thicker line of purple down the middle, and that's just it's kind of representational of the bi-flag. So, and this is the warped Scrupula. And now this is the Parabolica. This is kind of my take on what a tentacle could be without looking like a tentacle. So, got this nice S curve to it, flattened head, but also it flattens, but it also gets kind of narrow. So there's really an interesting, how do I put this? It has a very different sensation than something with just a round head like that. So definitely a little bit different. I think this is a great design, but it's definitely not your traditional tentacle. All right, so what do you think? I think it's ready. I think we can do it. All right. So it's pretty easy. All I'm going to do is break it loose. And we're going to give it just a little bit of a pull. All I want to do is create an air bubble. Oh, look at that. That's nice. That's very nice. So I just want to create just a little bit of an air bubble that I can work all the way around. I can work it all the way down to the tip. And that way, if I can do that, then I know that it has released from the entire piece, or from the entire mold, and then it just pulls right out. And that is a scrupula in the Aurora colorway. Very nice. All right, let's do one more pour, and then we're gonna wrap it up for the day. This will be a scrupula. In an 810, the Aurora colorway. So, just gonna get a little bit of spray release on here. Just want to make sure that the silicone doesn't stick to the mold. And we'll go right in there. Okay. And since we're doing an Aurora, I need a big cup, 2 small cups. All right, so I got my part A and part B mixed together. Whew. I apologize if I'm getting kind of quiet here. I've been working at this for the last couple hours, and man, it's hot. And mixing, really working this, trying to stay ahead of the silicone so it doesn't cure too fast. Still get everything done that I need to. Whew, it's just kind of exhausting. And by the way, if you're keeping track, this is for order number 174. So if you're looking for your order today, it is 174 for this one.
Actually, I should clarify. The last three digits of the order number is 174. All right, so we have our purple. Got really nice iridescence to it. It's like some blue in there, some red. Really nice just undertones of various colors. And we have our teal. And then we have our black. Ooh, hands cramping. All right, into the vacuum chamber. then the black goes on top of the purple. And I guess this is where the ninja moves come in that Dave was thinking there might be, because the way I layer them in here determines how they come out in the final casting. And so, from the side, you can see maybe it's mostly purple, then there's some black, and then you actually can't even see the teal. But they are actually equal parts. So, I'm going to aim straight down the middle here. There's the black. And just some micro movements, create a little bit of interesting texture going on. There's the purple. And now it's time to do my butt art. That's kind of my signature. And that is that. Order number 174. Done. Alright, and with that, I am about done for the day myself. So, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat real quick. I'll try to get to them. Otherwise, actually, I can do a demold here. This Metropole is ready to go. So let's see what we got. Again, this is a Metropole in, what is it? This is Metropole in 0050. So, this is going to be a little soft. Again, yeah, see? Look at that marbling right there. That's nice. Alright, so again, we're just going to pull a little bit, get a little air bubble. And then we're going to work that air bubble all the way around and all the way down to the tip. Because what we want to do is make sure that the toy is broken away from the mold so that we don't damage the mold. There we go. Okay. So, reach down in here and pull, and there we go. Interesting. This is one where the teal just kind of came right in, and then back here, this is where the purple comes in. We got just this short transition of black. So we got some really nice folding that's happening here, all the way down. That's nice. I'm pleased. Okay. And with that, my day is done. I got other things I gotta get back to. So, yeah. We'll see you next time. Okay, bye.